Okay, so put your thread through the needle, of course. Get a nice wide top, get a good sized needle, and you pull it all the way down. All right, now grab a hold of the bottom like this. Put it up next to your fingers and pinch it. Then wrap it around 1, 2, 3 times. Pinch it again. Pull it out like this, and then pull it down all the way down so that it makes a nice little knot. Now, you may not be able to see that knot, but that's a nice knot. All right, so then you're going to start on one side where that 3-inch line is, and you're going to come from the bottom, go to the top, and what I need you to do is make very tiny, tiny, tiny little stitches. And the reason I say that is because if you make large stitches, it won't seal the mask very well. So you need tiny little stitches so that it doesn't gather up, so it doesn't create too many holes. And just stitch it all the way to that line that you've marked. Remember to make little teeny stitches if you can. Don't make big wide ones. See, that's almost too wide. But make it tinier if you can. Make it look like, I don't know if you can see these, but these are very tiny little stitches. That might be better. Is that too shiny? That might be too shiny. Okay, I hope you can see those. Those are little tiny stitches. That's how big the stitches should be. All right. And that's what you need to do on each side. So get that done. Edwidge, do you know if this is going to replay for them that need to see it twice?
Yes, it's gonna be available. They can play it at any time.
Okay, good. Because if you can't get it done within this hour, which I timed myself last night for hand stitching, it takes almost an hour, over an hour to get it done. You hand stitch it. If you see machine stitch it, then it's going to take you just 5 minutes to do it by machine. So I will tell you this, that when I first started making these masks, and I gave them to a lot of members, a lot of people bought them, they were very grateful, and I really didn't want to charge, but people insisted on paying, and it helped pay for supplies. The other thing was when that era went out, I wanted to give more away, but so I started to give them to the respiratory therapists that work in the hospitals and the children. What they did was they gave it to the children, and the children were very grateful because they didn't have masks at the time. The other thing is if you can't get to a hospital or a vet's hospital or a veterinarian or just a regular doctor's office, your neighbors will love getting one of these. You will touch them and you will create a sort of a bond in your neighborhood, because when I started delivering them to my neighbors, some of them, I just did it because I wanted to, but I just felt inspired to do it. I didn't know what reaction I was going to get. One lady cried because she wasn't able to get masks, and she was very grateful. Another neighbor said, I said, how many people do you have in your family? And he was almost afraid to tell me. And so I only had 5 masks on hand when I went to his house, and I gave him all 5, but he had 9 people. So I went back and gave him the other 4. And, you're showing, and I don't want to say this about myself, but when Jesus inspires you to do something, listen to him, because how are we going to reach our neighbors? These are one way to reach your neighbors, and you're keeping them safe, and he keeps us safe. So, approaching it that way, I care about my neighbors. I want you to be safe. These are wonderful ways to fill your community service projects, or just to do it because you feel like it. And believe me, God instructs you where to take it. I once gave 12 masks to a doctor, and the receptionist was the one that was very grateful, but the doctor, I never heard from the doctor. Then I went to my eye doctor, and I'd gone 2 or 3 times, and I kept telling her, I'm going to give you a mask, I'm going to give you a mask, and I didn't. And then finally, the last time I went, which was just a couple days ago, I said, well, I'm going to give you guys masks tomorrow. And so I brought up, and I said, how many do you need? I said, oh, we have 3 offices. And I thought, oh, that box that I got like 48 masks in there. I'll be able to get rid of them. Yay! So I took them back up, and I gave them to them, and they just thought, oh, these are just, regular things. And
So
I called them, I said, look, you can sterilize these. They have pockets in them. You can put filters in them, which is why we're making a pocket in this one.
So should I be waiting for my mask to come soon?
Yeah, that's okay. That's it. And so I said, but don't you open this box up until doctor, and the doctor's name. I said, don't you open it until he gets to look at it, because I want him to have first choice. So I waited 2, 3 days. I didn't think anything of it, and I was just shocked and moved, because this man is so busy. He has no time. And he called me up, and he was just very grateful. So you're showing a little bit of Jesus in you when you do this for others. You take them to places you shop. Okay, now I'm going to show you the really cool part of this mask. All right, now we've sewed both sides. You see that? Both sides we've sewn. Okay, there, I think you can see it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can see it right now.
It's sewn. So now what you're going to do, and I hope you can still see it. I think you can. Okay, so you take one side, after you've sewn both sides, and you've got this middle part that's open. Now you take this part and you put it here. And you just smooth it out, or if you have an iron, it's better if you iron it. So now it's on the printed side, and there is your pocket right there. There's your pocket. You see that?
Oh,
so
okay.
Now you're going to turn it over, and you're going to take this side and put it down here. And I love this. When I saw this, I went, man, this is cool. See, because there's your pocket. Right, there's your pocket. So that's your pocket layer. Now, you're going to put your outside layer, face the printed side to the printed side. And you're going to put it together. And then you're going to sew all the way around the edges. Okay, now that what you're doing now. So while you're sewing that, before you sew it, I needed you to mark and make sure that the edges are lined up very carefully as you go. Keep the edges lined up. Don't let them overlap. Thank you, God, for making me feel better. Yay, Lord, yay, Lord. I wasn't feeling too good this morning, but I feel great now. I think when you serve God, feel better, right, Edwidge? Right? When you serve God, you feel better, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
It helps you feel better.
That's very good. He's like, no, you can't be sick right now. You have to do this. All right. So here's your. It's gonna look like this. It's okay if this side looks like that, the printed side, because there's 2 printed sides on this one, on your pocket side. So you're going to sew it all the way across. You have to mark it at 1/4 of an inch because you don't want to go to a bigger seam line. You have to make a tiny, teeny seam line. So however you're going to do it, whether you got a ruler, you need a regular ruler. Now I have a special ruler here. So I have marked 1/4 an inch on every side, as you can see here, all the way around. And then I have hand sewn it because I want to time myself. And it does take about an hour to go all the way around. Once you get it all the way around, okay, once you get this all the way around, we got a half an hour. That's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and turn my machine on. I don't know if you can see me.
You can see it.
All right, so for those of you that are doing this by machine, while the rest of you are sewing this up by hand all the way around, I'm going to go ahead and sew this by machine. And it's going to take like minutes to do this. Which is why I hate something. Okay. So each side, I'm going to go a quarter of an inch, only a 1/4 of an inch. That's it. Oh, great. My needle just broke.
Hey, these things happen.
That's okay. These are all fixable. Everything is fixable. Everything is. Even we are. Okay. What's going on? That's the problem. Okay, we'll fix that. We'll fix that. I'm going to change my thread because it decided to act up on me. So I need to change my thread. Here's my look right there. It is. Okay. I'm just going to change my thread because that one keeps doing its own little dance. For those of you that sew by machine, it is really, really fast. And I just want to make sure we get through this within the hour because I'd hate to kind of stop you. If it's going to take you an hour by hand, I need to show you the rest of the steps so that you can do it at another time. All right. Threading the needle. Threading it through. Okay. All right. We're ready to go. All right. So, we got any other participants yet?
Oh yeah, we got.
Just you.
Now we got up to 6 people.
Oh, good. Okay, so I hope you all hear audio on because I'd love to hear any comments or questions. I have shown, I don't know when you joined, but anyway, I'm going through this 1/4 of an inch on each side, okay? And don't worry about, make sure, like I said, to keep your edges even all the way around. Hand sewing it. As I said before, it's going to take an hour. Now, once you get it done, here's the really cool part that I love about this mask. I love this. There's your pocket. So all of you should by now have made the pocket part. Some of you are still sewing around the outside edges. That's okay. Just take your time, do it, make little teeny tiny stitches. The littler, the better, okay? So once you're done sewing all the way around the edge, then you just flip it out. This is so cool. I love this. Takes a little bit to flip it out. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Now, if you've got a pencil or you've got, if you got a pencil, that's going to work good. You need to just push the corners out. Better even if you just snip those corners off before you even turn it out. Just snip the corners like that. I'll take that back out and do it, because that's what I should have done in the first place. The best thing to do is to snip the corners. So you don't want to snip past where you sewed. You just snip right there at that corner when you've sewn all the way around. You should have a little part here that you cut, and a little part here, just like a triangle. You don't want to go into the part that you stitched, just above it. How many of you have sewn before?
I took some sewing classes. The people's on Facebook, so they won't be able to respond live, but they can type. They can type their answers though if you ask.
Yeah, just type it in if you've sewn before. Let me know if some of you have sewn on a machine before, just so I know who my audience is and what I can, the magic I can show you, I guess, that the Lord can show you, not me. Now I have a special little tool. It's a turner. It's a corner turner, or seam turner. See, now that did not get sewn. That's why you want to make sure that you sew those edges. That's good that happens, so that I can show you what not to do and what to do. So make sure that you're going down each, that you're covering it on each side. Somehow I missed that. I don't know, but I did. Okay. So I'm going to cut it again, just on the corner. And then I'm going to flip it inside out. When you want it to go perfect, it never does. So it's okay though. The thing is it's so fun to make these because they're so easy and they're so quick. Like I said, on the machine, they're really fast. So here's your little there.
Yes, question. Where do you get your fabrics from?
Yeah. So it's important to have 3 pieces, and I was hoping that got on the website to show you. I'm sorry if it didn't, but you do need 3 pieces to make this one.
Okay.
All right. And I know Ariel was trying to get on there, but she got so busy. So, all right. So now here's your back. As you can see, there's your pocket that you can put a filter in. Any kind of filter. Okay. You just stick it in there. A piece of Pellon, interfacing, or something special that is definitely a filter. And there's your front side of your mask. Okay, now what are we going to do? Well, now we're going to make it look like this. Okay, so you're going to fold this in 3/4 of an inch. And then you're going to sew along the very, very, very edge right there. Okay. But before you sew that, you're going to take your 42 inches. Okay. And it's going to go like this. This is actually 50 inches, and I prefer 50 inches, but if you only have 42, that's fine. There's your back right there. I hope you can see that. The back that comes out here, and the front's going to come here. You need to tie, if you're using paracord, you need to burn it on the ends, and then make a knot so it won't go back through. So make your knot, and you might even want to make 2. On each side, make a knot. Okay, so there's, the good thing about this is you can play it over and over, and you guys can get this. Okay, so then you got your 3/4 of an inch, and you fold it over. Does everybody see that? I hope you can. And then you're going to sew down here on each side. When you do that, you're done. That's it. After you do that on each side, you're done. So it's 3/4 of an inch. Put the rope in there, keep the rope to the very edge here. And then I'm going to put it back on the machine. I'm going to go ahead and sew it. You want to make it go back and forth. I'm going to triple sew it on the edges so that it doesn't come out. Okay, so there's that side. And that's what it's going to look like. You see that? You clip your little strings and so on. That's what it's going to look like right there. All right, so now you're going to do the other side. Fold it in 3/4 of an inch. Keep your rope right up next to the edge. When you sew it, it does not catch in your sewing machine, or if you sew it by hand, again, do it with tiny little stitches all the way across. Okay, so this will take you another maybe 15 minutes by hand. But as I said, on the machine, if some of you are doing it by machine, this is really, really fast. And when they're in emergency mode, they love these because they can just slip them on and go, and they don't have a bunch of stuff that they have to mess with. And the good thing is that it's adjustable. They like that. The nurses and the doctors like the fact that it's adjustable. So there's your mask, that one. And are there any questions for those of you that are watching? I think Edwidge will tell me if there's any questions. If I need to go over something, please type it out and ask the question. Yes. The filters, if you use a piece of what they call interfacing, Pellon interfacing, let me go get that. I want you to see it. There's two kinds of filters. You can order these. This is a type of filter right here. It's very, very skinny, but you get like 25 in a package. I got them on Amazon. They look just like this. You can just stick those inside. Which side goes to you? Well, I think this side does. And the reason for that is it can't get through that Pellon. So you put that in there. Or a lot of people use the Pellon. Now I've cut out a little piece of Pellon. You just fold that. You just cut it like there so that you can put it in there. Cut it to the size. All right, so I'm just going to pretend I cut this to the size, and then I'm going to stick it in there like that. And I haven't cut it, but that's what I would do. I would cut it to the size, and there you go. Now you have your filter in there. You're not going to sweat to death because it's summer. Because the other ones were like flannel and 2 layers of fabric. But this, now you've got this. And once again, like I said, you put it over your head. Well, you know what? I'm going to switch cameras so you can see. I'm going to switch cameras here because I don't think they can see it the other way. Okay, there. Now you can see, right? Okay, so you put it over your head like this. Whoop. The other way. Face the outside layer towards you. Put the loop around your back, around your neck. Take it and adjust it to the size that you want. And you've got an instant mask. You don't have to worry about nothing. It's really good. and it's fast, and the doctors love it. Okay, hope you hear that. The doctors like this that are in the ones that are on the front line that have to change all the time. They like this kind. This is the kind they like. All right, so now I want to show you. Is there any other questions or comments or anything I can help anybody with? Oh, that's the paracord. This is paracord, but you can use shoestrings, you can use ribbon, and you can use bias tape. Now, bias tape, I'm going to show you some bias tape that you can make yourself, or right, old shoestrings, or if you go to the store and you buy some bias tape, let me switch the camera again. Let me switch camera. Okay. There we go. All right, bias tape, which is like this, and it depends on the size you get. This is probably a good 3 inches, which is huge. Which I don't like the big wide bias tape. I like the little bias tape like this, because then you can just fold it like that, and you can sew, and that's still too skinny for me. So I like the rope, or I make my own. And how do I make my own? That's what's cool. You can cut a 2-inch strip, 42 inches long. You can cut a 2-inch strip, 42 inches long, like this. Okay. And then what you're going to do is, if you're going to make the bias tape, you're going to fold it in on each side, fold it in half first, so that you know where the center is. Because you can make your own so much easier, and it matches your fabric. So I take it and I iron it, okay, or I don't, because I want to do it quick. So then I fold in each side towards the center, and then I put, but before I do that, you've got to make the edge. So you got to fold this over first, and fold that into the center, and fold that into the center. And once that's, you got both sides folded into the center, fold it in half, and if you stretch it with your hand, it'll go right down there where you want it to go. And you need to just fold these sides in as you go. Some people need to iron this. I put it on the machine and I just go. So then you fold it in and you start sewing right there. And once you do that, then you've got the whole piece like this, and you can put that in there inside of your mask. But you're going to want it to be like 50 inches long. It's much better if it's 50 inches long. If you got 42, that'll work, but it'll make it a little shorter by 8 inches. So I suggest you make it 50 inches long, because that'll fit most people. Any questions? Yeah, take the filter out. Take the filter out and tie your strings so that they don't come loose. Tie them up and double tie them, because if you don't, they're going to come loose, especially paracord, because it's slippery. So tie it, throw it in the wash, it comes out, you're done. If you want to, you can even put a piece of, if you have a bread tie like this, a bread tie, or you can get, the weed whacker things where you buy a whole string of them at the hardware store. You can buy a whole spool of these and cut them about 5 inches long, and then stick it in the top part of the mask, and you've got a nose guard, which nose guards are great. And you put the nose guard in, and then you just sew across there. Sew across, whoop, well, let me switch cameras again. Silly me. Okay, so you take the twist tie right here, and you stick it in the mask wherever the top is, wherever your top is of your outside. So in this case, my top is here. So I'm going to put it on this side, and I'm going to push it up there, way up towards the top, and then just make it nice and straight along there. You could do it with 4 inches on these. I think 5 is a little too big, but 4 should be fine, or even 3. But get it in there, get it nice and straight, and then just sew a line along there. And what that does is it creates where you can get it on your nose. See? Yeah. And then when you put it on, back to the other camera. All right. Okay, so then put it on, you got a little piece here, and it just forms, it forms right to your nose. It goes right around where your nose is. Yeah, now if you're from Las Vegas and you want to get stronger, these are from the 88 sheet metal workers, and they give them free for anyone who makes masks for healthcare workers or neighbors or whoever. You just write to them and say, hey, could you send me 100? They'll do it for free. I asked for 500 and they came and delivered it right to my door. These are made out of aluminum, so they're flexible. And you form them right to your nose. And once you get that, oh, it's great. So there you go. And it goes right back out again. Okay. I hope that this has been good and informative. I would have liked showing you some other masks, but this is the one that I believe will be the quickest for you to do. If you get a chance, before you put this back piece on, you might want to sew just to reinforce pocket. It's a good idea to sew across here and here. Wait a minute, gotta move it again. Okay, we're moving the camera again. There we go. Okay, so it's a good idea before you attach the pocket piece to the front piece. If you, after you've made the pocket and you've turned it on both sides, if you sew along on each side, it just reinforces the pocket. So this one has been reinforced. And this one that I just made with you has not been reinforced. And as you can see, it's starting to pull apart. So it's a good idea to reinforce that pocket. All right. Any other questions?
I think that was the last one.
That's it.
That's
Well,
it.
You enjoyed this, and I hope that you can benefit your community and your neighbors. And believe me, your neighbors, if you want to reach out, this is a great way to reach out, and a great way to show Christ's love in you. And when you have genuine concern for your neighbors, it just comes naturally. I know you'll enjoy doing this, and your family will appreciate it.
Yeah.
They'll have a safe mask. Thank you so much, and that's it.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Miss Mary.
Can we have prayer before we leave?
Let's do it.
Okay. Father, thank you much for watching over us, for taking care of us, for blessing us in all that we do. Lord, I pray that these masks are well made by the people that watch or that will watch in the future, that you can bless others and show your love through your people and let your light shine through us. And Lord, thank you so much for taking care of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right.
Thanks, Miss Mary. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye.